Hey there, my fishing friends, fellow anglers, and YouTube family. Your old buddy is back with the latest and greatest fishing forecast to help you make the most of your time on the water. We're diving into the week of September 15th to September 21st, 2025, covering our fantastic waters right here in the UK. This week looks set to be a real mixed bag, friends, with some typical autumnal unsettled weather that could either make or break your session. But don't you worry, we'll break it all down so you know exactly when and where to cast your line and what to expect from our finned friends. This period in mid-September is a transitional one, signalling the true arrival of autumn, and that often means some unpredictable yet potentially highly rewarding fishing opportunities. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the theoretical base for our forecast. Understanding the conditions is key to unlocking those bites. First up, the weather. Looking at our region for this week, we're expecting quite an unsettled theme. From Monday, September 15th, right through to Saturday, September 20th, we'll likely see light rain for much of the week, with chances of heavier downpours and even some blustery showers. Temperatures will hover between a cool 6 degrees Celsius, 43 degrees Fahrenheit, and a milder 13 degrees Celsius, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity will be on the higher side, ranging from 83 to 92%. We're also anticipating breezy and gusty conditions, particularly early in the week on Monday, September 15th, with winds gradually easing off by Tuesday, September 16th. This changeable weather, with fluctuating temperatures and often falling atmospheric pressure due to low-pressure systems, can make fish a bit finicky. Rapid drops in pressure tend to send fish deeper, making them less active. However, stable periods, even if it's raining, can see them feeding well, especially if the pressure holds steady. By Sunday, September 21st, we might see a slight reprieve with partly cloudy skies and temperatures between 4 degrees Celsius, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, and 12 degrees Celsius, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, let's talk about water temperature. September marks a cooling trend in our waters. Average freshwater temperatures in our region during September are around 17.2 degrees Celsius, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Sea temperatures will be in a similar range, typically between 15 and 18 degrees Celsius, 59 and 64.7 degrees Fahrenheit, generally considered a bit too cool for swimming for us, but still comfortable for many fish species. As the days shorten and air temperatures drop, the water will continue its gradual cooling. This cooling water is a major trigger for many fish species. They sense winter approaching and instinctively start to feed more aggressively to build up reserves. This is what we call the autumnal feeding frenzy for some species, and it's a fantastic time to be out there. Moving on to the quarter-moon phase. But this week is particularly interesting. We had a full moon on September 7th and a third quarter on September 14th. So, as we enter our forecast period on Monday, September 15th, we'll be firmly in the hay-waning crescent phase, moving towards a new moon. On Sunday, September 21st, at 2:54 p.m. Now, for those who follow lunar cycles, the new moon is often considered a prime time for fishing. Many anglers believe that the reduced moonlight leads to increased activity during the day as fish feel less exposed, or perhaps it stirs up nocturnal feeders. From my experience, the days leading up to and just after the new moon can indeed be very productive, especially for predatory species. So keep that in mind, my friends. Finally, the general activity of fish in our region for this time of year. September is, in my opinion, one of the best months for angling in the UK. We get the best of both worlds. Many summer species are still active, while the first of the winter species are starting to make an appearance. Fish are definitely in a feeding mood, preparing for the leaner winter months. Freshwater species like pike and perch are becoming more active as the water cools, and in the sea, we see a wide variety of targets. All right, friends, let's get down to what you really came for. The forecast by species and tactics. I picked out a few key species that should be biting well in our waters this week. First, let's talk about the pike. With the water cooling, these predators will be on the hunt. You'll find them lurking in slightly deeper waters, around drop-offs, weed beds, and submerged features where smaller fish might seek shelter. Look for them along the edges of larger lakes and canals, and in slower-moving sections of rivers. For tackle, a medium to heavy spinning or bait casting setup is ideal. For lures, try medium to large spoons, soft plastics rigged on jig heads, or crankbaits in natural colors that imitate baitfish. Don't forget to use a strong wire trace. My friends, pike have sharp teeth. A little trick I've found is to work your lures slowly, letting them sink and twitch, mimicking an injured fish. Live or dead bait like a small roach or smelt, fished under a float or on a ledger rig, can also be deadly this time of year. Next up, the ever-popular perch. These striped beauties are usually quite active in September. Look for them in areas with structure, such as submerged trees, jetties, bridge pilings, and rocky outcrops in both lakes and rivers. They often school up this time of year, so if you find one, you'll likely find more. Light to medium spinning gear is perfect. Small, soft plastics, particularly in grub or worm shapes fished on a light jig head, are excellent. Small spinners and tiny crankbaits also work wonders. For bait anglers, a simple waggler float or ledger rig with worms, maggots, or small pieces of prawn can be incredibly effective. Pay attention to changes in depth. They might be just off a drop-off, waiting to ambush smaller fish. For those who enjoy saltwater action, the tanchampasito can still offer some thrilling sport. Larger bass will be actively feeding in coastal areas. Focus on rocky shores, estuaries, and around turbulent water where baitfish are likely to be disorientated by the current or waves. Deeper gullies and weed edges can also hold them. For tackle, a medium to heavy spinning rod with a good casting reel is essential. Surface lures like poppers or walk-the-dog style baits can work well in calmer conditions, especially at dawn or dusk. Subsurface lures like minnow imitations or soft plastic shades are also highly effective. Fresh lugworm or peeler crab, fished on a running ledger rig, can also tempt a big one. Remember, bass are often ambush predators, so cast close to structure and retrieve with varying speeds. And finally, for some reliable bottom fishing, let's talk about flounder and whiting. These species are starting to show up in greater numbers as the water cools. You'll find flounder over sandy or muddy bottoms in estuaries, harbors, and sheltered bays. Whiting are more widespread and can be found over sand, shingle, or mixed ground, often in slightly deeper water. A light beach casting rod or a heavy spinning rod is suitable for both. For bait, fresh lugworm, ragworm, or strips of mackerel or squid are irresistible. A 2 or 3 hook paternoster rig is a classic choice for flounder and whiting, allowing you to present multiple baits at different depths. For flounder, a steady, slow retrieve that drags the bait along the bottom can often trigger a strike. Whiting are more aggressive and will readily take a static bait. Now for the part many of you have been waiting for, the daily forecast. Let's see what each day holds for us. On Monday, September 15th, I'm predicting a medium to good bite. We'll have light rain and moderate temperatures ranging from 8 to 11 degrees Celsius, 46 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The winds will be blustery, which might make presentation tricky, but the cooling water will have fish thinking about food. Focus on pike and perch in sheltered areas of lakes and canals, and deeper marks for sea bass if the swell isn't too strong. Tuesday, September 16th. Looks like you're good today. Light rain continues with temperatures between 6 and 12 degrees Celsius, 43 and 53 degrees Fahrenheit, but the winds should be easing slightly. This more stable, albeit damp, weather could see a good feeding window. Target active perch in structured areas and consider bottom fishing for flounder or whiting as they become more active. For Wednesday, September 17th, expect a medium to good bite. Light rain is still on the cards with temperatures between 8 and 13 degrees Celsius, 46 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The forecast shows continued unsettled conditions. This consistent rain could cloud the waters, which can sometimes be a good thing for predators like pike, giving them cover. Focus on areas with good water flow for coarse fish, and don't be afraid to try some smelly baits. Thursday, September 18th. I'd rate the bite as medium. Light rain and temperatures between 7 and 12 degrees Celsius, 44 and 54 degrees Fahrenheit, suggest another typical autumnal day. Fish might be a bit more cautious due to the continued unsettled conditions. Patience will be key. Try a slow retrieve for lures and ensure your bait presentation is impeccable. Consider slightly deeper marks where fish might be holding. On Friday, September 19th, we're looking at a steady medium to good const outlook. Light rain is expected with temperatures ranging from 8 to 13 degrees Celsius, 47 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. As we approach the weekend and with the new moon drawing closer, fish activity might pick up. This could be a good day for targeting pike or even some active sea bass, especially during periods of stable pressure. Saturday, September 20th. I'm going with a good eye prediction. Light rain and temperatures between 6 and 11 degrees Celsius, 43 and 52 degrees Fahrenheit. This cooler, consistent weather leading into the new moon could trigger a stronger feeding response. This is a day to be out there. Focus on those transitional areas where fish will move between deeper and shallower water. Early morning and late afternoon could be particularly productive. Finally, Sunday, September 21st. I'm expecting a good to excellent day for many species. We're forecast for partly cloudy skies with temperatures from 4 to 12 degrees Celsius, 39 to 53 degrees Fahrenheit, and crucially, it's the day of the new moon. This combination often spells good news for anglers. The reduced light of the new moon, coupled with potentially calmer conditions, can really switch on the fish. Target everything we've talked about: pike, perch, bass, flounder, and whiting. This could be the day to land that personal best. Well, there you have it, my friends. Your comprehensive fishing forecast for the week ahead. Remember, fishing is always an adventure, and conditions can change. But with this information in your tackle box, you're armed and ready to make the most of it. Stay safe out there, keep those lines tight, and I wish you all tight lines and ni chvosta ni cheshwi. May your catch be plentiful. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful, and leave a comment below. What are your plans for this week's fishing? What species are you targeting? And what's your go-to bait in early autumn? Share your thoughts and let's build this amazing community together. Happy fishing, everyone.